It's October 8th, 1995. We're at the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington, and the decisive Game 5 of an ALDS between the New York Yankees and Seattle Mariners is in extra innings. Seattle is down a run, which means this bottom of the 11th is do or die, and not just in the usual baseball way. To understand how crucial this moment is, we need to remember New York's recent history of baseball failure and Seattle's potential future without baseball. And to appreciate what's about to happen, we need to meet the characters inhabiting this moment. We need to rewind. The Yankees are up. If they get out of this inning, they will win a playoff series. At nearly any other point in Yankees history, that would be no big deal. But here in 1995, it would be a godsend. Just ask the man covering first base, Don Mattingly. Since long before Mattingly's career began, the Yankees had been one of the most consistently excellent franchises in all of pro sports. Dating back to the 1920s, the Yankees had experienced a playoff drought exactly once, a little valley between 1965 and 1975. New York's 33 World Series appearances included 4 in the 6 seasons preceding Mattingly's 1982 debut. But that debut came at the tail end of a losing season. And in Mattingly's 1983 rookie season, the Yankees missed the playoffs again. Mattingly became an all-star and batting champion in '84, but the Yankees missed the playoffs. The Yankees missed the playoffs narrowly even when Mattingly won MVP in 1985. Yes, that's current Seattle manager Lou Piniella alongside him. Piniella coached and managed the Yankees through some of those dark years. Mattingly remained elite throughout the '80s, but not once did New York make the playoffs. And as injuries slowed their star, the Yankees got even worse. When current manager Buck Showalter took over, gradually turned New York into a winner, and eventually led them to the top of the AL East in 1994, a strike aborted the season and the playoffs were canceled. In August of this season, they looked dead, falling to 53-58 on the heels of a shutout against Randy Johnson and these very same Mariners. But they rallied. New York dominated September with excellent pitching, then snagged the recently conceived wild card to finally end the drought. And their momentum carried into the postseason. The Yankees won their home games to go up 2-0 in this best-of-5 AL divisional series, which is also a recent invention. And after a pretty rough individual season, the veteran Mattingly helped spark those wins. His vintage performance includes a homer during New York's 15-inning Game 2 win and a crucial 2-run double tonight. So yeah, Don Mattingly is 34 years old, he's been a Yankee, and mostly a very good one for 14 seasons. But only now, in Mattingly's twilight, does New York sit 3 outs away from winning the first playoff series of his career. If they don't, this first might also become a last. Mattingly's contract is expiring, and it's widely believed the declining, somewhat disgruntled star will leave the Yankees or just retire. But the Yankees are so close to delaying that decision. They just need strong pitching from a relative newcomer, which has been their MO. David Cone, who was acquired in a July trade with the rival Blue Jays, got the Game 1 win and pitched 7 strong innings tonight, outlasting Seattle starter Andy Benes before a shaky 8th tied the game.
In the dirt, we're tied. The walk, the strange forces in young Alex Rodriguez.
Rookie reliever Mariano Rivera, the Game 2 winner, got New York out of that inning. In the 9th, Showalter and Seattle's Piniella made their versions of the same move when they faced late trouble. Instead of closers, both teams brought in their aces, both on one day's rest after starting Game 3. Different kinds of aces produce different results. Seattle's Randy Johnson is the presumptive Cy Young winner with the nightmarish fastball. He led Seattle out of the 9th and struck out the side in the 10th. But Johnson faltered in the 11th, surrendering an RBI single to Randy Velarde that gave New York this lead. New York's Jack Mcdowell is yet another newcomer, acquired in the offseason to be their ace, but his first year in pinstripes has been rocky. It will be most remembered for the night in July when he gave all of Yankee Stadium the middle finger. Mcdowell took the loss in Game 3, but got the short rest nod tonight just like Johnson did, and survived the 9th and 10th just like Johnson did. But now, just like Johnson, he faces a threat. We'll explore this threat, Joey Cora and Ken Griffey Jr. on the corners, Edgar Martinez at bat, but first we must understand how important this is, and how unlikely it all seemed not that long ago. We are in the Kingdome. This stadium opened in 1976 and soon thereafter welcomed the NFL expansion Seahawks and the MLB expansion Mariners. 2 decades later, the building is in peril. In 1994, after years of repairing roof leaks, massive ceiling tiles fell onto the field right before fans were about to enter for a game. The building was closed, and the Mariners had to play almost a month straight of that shortened season on the road. Repairs on the roof cost hundreds of millions of dollars and, tragically, took the lives of 2 construction workers who fell in a crane accident. It's evident by now that the Mariners are going to need a new home. And unless the team can justify its presence here, that home might not be Seattle. We've already mentioned the Yankees breaking a rare playoff drought. Well, this is the Mariners' first postseason appearance since 1977, which is to say, ever. They have sucked since inception and consistently ranked near the bottom of the American League in attendance. This season didn't look like it would be any different. Superstar Ken Griffey Jr. smashed up his wrist, making an incredible catch in late May. The best the team could do in the months without him was stay afloat. Edgar Martinez put up career-best batting numbers, Johnson pitched like his life depended on it, and the Mariners treaded water. Meanwhile, their future in Seattle was sinking. Knowing the Kingdome was doomed, the team and county proposed a new baseball-only stadium funded mostly by the public. In September, taxpayers shot it down. Out of options, team owners set a deadline. If they didn't see a stadium plan by October 30th, they'd put the team up for sale. Seattle might very well lose its baseball team. But on the field, something happened. When Griffey returned in August, Seattle stood well behind the division-leading California Angels. But in September, they reeled off a couple rousing win streaks and by month's end, commanded first place in the AL West. Seattle fans had a new rallying cry, refuse to lose. And they showed up, even selling out the decrepit Kingdome. When season-ending records necessitated a single-game tiebreaker with the Angels, the Mariners indeed refused to lose. They kicked the shit out of a team they'd once trailed in the standings by 13 games. Luis Sojo's bases-clearing double broke the game open in the 7th inning, and Johnson punctuated a brilliant complete game with a strikeout to send Seattle to the postseason for the first time ever. Even getting to this point has generated momentum, playing autumn baseball in front of a packed stadium. This is proof that the Mariners deserve an investment, a source of hope that they can secure a long-term home in Seattle before the 30th of the month. Actually winning this thing would dial that hope up to a near guarantee. So yeah, no pressure guys, you just might be playing for the future of baseball in this city. So who exactly are we talking about here? Let's meet the Mariners participating in this moment. Standing at third is Joey Cora. The little 30-year-old switch hitter had an excellent first season with the Mariners and kept it rolling here in the ALDS. Cora played a quietly crucial role in Seattle's scoring outbursts to come back and win Game 4, bunting for a single to start the 3rd inning rally, then dodging Mattingly's tag to do it again to help kick off a similarly huge 8th inning. And Cora opened the scoring tonight with an uncharacteristic homer to right field. So when Cora led off to open the bottom of this 11th inning, the Yankees defense didn't know whether or not to expect another tricky bunt. He wasn't instructed to bunt and took 3 straight pitches without showing any intention to do so, leading Mattingly to back up a bit at first. That was when Cora decided on his own to go for it. And just like in Game 4, he veered to avoid the tag, but not far enough outside his base path to get called out. Another bunt single for Joey Cora. And now Cora's on third. On first is a man we all know and love, Ken Griffey Jr. He's a big deal. He's the guy in the video game. He's the guy who, at 25 years old, is already a 6-time All-Star and perhaps the most exciting outfielder on Earth, although, of course, that last thing nearly derailed this whole season. Griffey's been typically amazing in this series. He homered 3 times in the 2 losses at Yankee Stadium. He homered last night to break a 5-5 tie and set Seattle on the path to victory.
Griffey's got it out of here!
He homered tonight to help drive David Cone off the mound. Those 5 home runs in a single series tied the record set by Yankee legend Reggie Jackson, who's here watching tonight. When Griffey came up with a man in scoring position in the bottom of the 9th, Rivera intentionally walked him. But just now, Griffey slapped the single that got Cora all the way to third. So those are the runners. Before we address the man at the plate, I want to point out who's on deck. It's Alex Rodriguez, a 20-year-old shortstop who spent most of this season in AAA. But just like New York's young shortstop of the future, Rodriguez hasn't really been part of the postseason. He came into tonight with 0 at-bats in the series, but entered this game when a flummoxed and apparently very itchy Piniella couldn't find anyone else to pinch run in the 8th inning. Rodriguez would score the tying run on Cone's final pitch of the night, a brutal bases-loaded walk. But A-Rod fumbled his chance to break the tie with a walk-off and become an instant legend. He grounded into an inning-ending fielder's choice with 2 on in the bottom of the 9th. Down a run, Rodriguez will be in an even higher pressure situation should the man at the plate be retired without driving in a run. So let's talk about the man at the plate, Edgar Martinez. Everyone in this crowd would love to talk about him. They've been screaming his name all night. In another league or at another time, Martinez might not be able to play baseball. He entered the majors as a hard-hitting third baseman, but in a 1993 exhibition game, suffered a hamstring injury severe enough to limit his fielding ability long-term. Thankfully, the American League permits a designated hitter, and Martinez has blossomed in that role. He was Seattle's MVP in this mostly Griffey-less season, and frankly, if the Mariners got a bit more attention, he might be MVP of the whole league. There's no questioning Edgar's MVP status in this series. He was automatic during the games in New York, and in Game 4 made history. Down 5-0 in the 3rd inning of that game, Martinez drove in Cora and Griffey with a 3-run homer. Tied 6-6 in the 8th, Martinez blasted a grand slam that had this old building shaking. 7 runs batted in is the most ever in a playoff game. But when it came time for a walk-off tonight, Edgar whiffed. Before the kid Rodriguez left men on base to end the 9th inning, Martinez had his chance to play hero and struck out swinging against Mcdowell. Here is another opportunity. A single would drive in Cora and tie the game. Yet another homer would end the series. Something in between? Well, Griffey is fast as hell, and this turf can carry hard-hit balls pretty far, so you never know. Maybe Edgar could walk off the whole series with an extra base hit inside the park. If he does, it's heartbreak for the Yankees, from a 2-0 lead to defeat in their first playoff series since the early 80s. It's a rough ending to a rough season for Mcdowell. It could be an even rougher ending to what is, despite his individual excellence, Don Mattingly's first playoff series in 14 years as a pro. And somehow, the stakes for Seattle are even higher. They're fighting to keep the team in this city, if not in this decrepit stadium, then somewhere else, to be determined by politicians and bazillionaires who've gotten plenty of proof that Seattle is a viable baseball town, but might need more. An unsung hero represents the tying run on third. A young superstar who missed most of the season represents the winning run. A slugger who's continued an unbelievable year with historically clutch play has the chance to drive them in after failing in a similar opportunity 2 innings ago. If he fails, then an unproven youngster who also wasted a walk-off chance before has to navigate a situation just loaded with pressure. Let's see if the Mariners will refuse to lose one more time. Let's see if Edgar Martinez can rescue a series, a season, and a whole franchise that have all threatened to slip away. Welcome to a moment in history.
Line drive, we are tied. Griffey is coming along. In the corner's Bernie. He's going to try to score. Here's the division championship. Mariners win it. Mariners win it.
Thanks for watching Rewinder. If you want to know what the Mariners have been up to, here's an episode of Collapse. Or if you'd rather just watch the Yankees lose in dramatic fashion, then how about this other episode of Rewinder?